Byddwn ffyddlon i'n gwlad am ddiffynnon ein tir, pob gormes a brad, maen nhw'n gredu'n y gwir. Tra bo hael yn y nen, tra bo diw i'n ein ben, be fydd ysbryd y beca'n fyw yn yr efail wen. Gan yr efa hanner yn ôl yn gwlad.
Croeso, and welcome to Tales of Wales, the pod that never fails to arouse your hearts and put that fire in your belly and stir up that rebellious spirits from your ancestors' past. You are joined once again by me, Frankleton, and the side... what would I call you? Not co-host. Sidekick.
That's a bit harsh. Yeah, sidekick. Jester of the court.
Jester, yeah. David Jack Newby. How about that?
Full naming me as well. I'm being told off.
Yeah. People might not know this, but Jack is a liar. He's not even called Jack. His real name.
Every day of my life is a lie. I say to everyone, every time I meet you, I meet a new person, it's a lie. First thing about me.
First thing you say, the very first thing you tell people.
First thing that comes out of my fucking mouth is a lie. Yeah.
You're a gobshite liar.
I'm a little gobshite boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, for those who don't know, I'm actually a David.
Yeah.
A David.
All right, David, how you doing, mate? You all right? Yeah, not bad yourself. But it was like family tradition to prank people, wasn't it? It's
we're family of liars, mate. It just goes through, it's in my blood. Like, yeah, my dad's a David. Everyone calls him Nick. My granddad was David. Everyone calls him Les. Although I actually found out that was a lie. I just assumed that was the case. And on his funeral, I was like, "Where's the David?" On his little fucking, a little bit of paper they give you, and he wasn't on there. So I just presumed it was just me and my dad. Not even a tradition. I don't know why they. Why I thought it was.
So you're a Billy Sicko as well as a liar.
They lied to me about the lie.
Yeah.
How deep does it go?
Inception.
Yeah.
Absolute lieception. I got a banging headache, man. I only had like 3 pints of rum, but me and you are pint drinkers in rum form, aren't we? So
yeah, it's just like a big double in it.
Big
maybe
double.
More like a triple, I'd say, with our measures. But
I'd give it, if we're cards on the table here, I'd call it a triple. But I had 3 of them. So what's that? That's like 9 shots.
Yeah,
that ain't loads, is it? That's not fucking
enough
enough
for
to
nothing.
shit.
So touch the sides enough to mate.
You do. But it has made me dusty this morning. Do you know when you just feel a little bit like ugh?
I know what you
and
mean.
I wasn't really. It was because I was cooking. I cooked just like a really nice meal last night, and it's so hard not to have a little drink whilst you cook because it's just it's that it gets a je ne sais quoi. It helps you with that little.
I love a little beer with cooking. We did. I didn't have a beer on Wednesday because it was Valentine's Day. I did the cooking, a little 3-courser, and I did, but I had wine with it. Not really big wine boy, but it was going down quite nice. I felt like a very sophisticated man doing cooking stuff with wine.
I do quite like wine now. A little red. A little.
Oh no!
Well,
that's vinegar in a glass. That is, mate.
I always thought that. I was always if I would, I'd have the shittest white wine where I'd have like Gallows, which was like fucking shit.
Wonder why it tastes like crap, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like sugary, sweet, really cheap, horrible. I like when they call it plonk. A bit horrible plonk.
It's funny word, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd have like a little Sauvignon. But Emma really likes it, and I bought her like a fancy Chateau Neuf de Pape. And
very
we had
nice.
That, and I've just got a Costco card, which is fucking amazing. For
Can
ages,
anyone get them? I thought you had to be like a business.
Well, that's the thing. There's like stipulations, and to get one individually, you need to have meet like 9 different, or you have to meet like 9. You could meet 9 things. Sorry, I'm not saying that very well. There's 9 ways you could meet the criteria. So it could be, you're an accountant, or you're a doctor, or there's they have 9 jobs that you can do that you've qualified for.
Is one of them podcast hosts? And you're like, yes, one of them finally.
Yeah, no. One is like medical services. And I work in like health comms, so I just said that down.
Absolutely bent the rules then.
Yeah. And they didn't. Apparently, they never check or any of it. So you could just do whatever. Like all I had to do was bring down my pay slip, which doesn't say that. It just says the name of my company, which does have a bit of a medical term in it. But then, and then I just showed them my driving license, and there and then they give you a thing. You give you a little photo, and then you just get to go crazy around Costco, which is like fucking Toys R Us for adults. It's so much fun in there.
Hey, mate, if they're going to leave the little loophole like that open for you, who would you be to not jump through it?
I was so giddy that I'm not. I think my nan had a really bad allergic reaction to prawns, and then I had a really bad reaction to prawns when I was younger, so I never have them. But I was so giddy, I had a prawn gyoza because they were free there. And I was like, after eating it, I was like, fuck, that was stupid.
Reactions be damned.
Yeah. And my only reaction was pure happiness. And then a tight throat whilst I was driving home. But it was absolutely, I loved it. I'm going for a run with my mate on Sunday, and I'm running to Costco. Like, I'm fucking obsessed with it. I'm going to run to Costco and have one of their hot dogs. Yeah, I'm going to run.
What's happening?
I've accidentally run to Windsor.
What?
Yeah, I've mistakenly run to Windsor.
But that's like in Scotland or something, isn't it?
I didn't mean to. It's just the endorphins kicked in and I couldn't stop.
Okay, well, find some polythene or something to pull over yourself and a bit of waste ground, and I'm sure you'll feel fine in the morning.
My legs are gone, man. I'm a jelly. I'm paralysed. It feels fucking brilliant.
It's pretty wild, isn't
Madness. Oh, little hot dog as a reward and then run back, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't really know how I'm going to get back because I don't want to run there and back, but maybe
figure that out when you get there, mate.
Yeah.
You'll be fine, yeah.
What's new with you little stink?
No, much. I was going to bring up the. Did you watch that video I sent you the other day about the Welsh nationalist porno?
No, I think it would make me too horny. I didn't want to get.
No, it's all right. I don't worry. This canary has taken that dive for you before, so it's sans horniness. To inform the listeners, I just found this.
I just found this thing.
I found it. I was just perusing the web.
Perusing the web, and I accidentally typed in porn Wales and
Welsh
now.
porn, Welsh nationalist porn now. No, but I follow this guy on YouTube called Wales in the Movies. He's very good. He's like talks about how Wales participates in loads of movies, like unbeknownst to the general public, and how we're not really given credit. Loads of places are filmed in Wales, but they're posing as somewhere else. So there'll be.
What's his handle? Would you give him a shout out?
Wales in the Movies is the channel, as I said at the start.
I didn't realise it'd be. Is that what you just type in? Because I typed Wales in the Movies.
Yeah,
YouTube.
Wales in the Movies is what he's called. He's very good.
I'll say it again. Wales in the Movies hasn't changed.
One more time, yeah. Always the same.
Always the same.
Yeah. But anyway, he's got one of his latest videos. It popped up in my suggested thing, the algorithms or whatever, and it's this Welsh nationalist porno, and he does a bit of a. It's not a deep dive as such, but a shallow dive into this porno made by an American company, and the underlying story in this porno is essentially I'm pretty sure the main porn actress is Welsh, right? And she goes to Parliament to suggest to them that Wales be taken out with the union and all that sort of stuff, and they give them their independence. And I'm assuming she convinces him by shagging him or something, I guess. But he said he was saying that the most correct use of Welsh he's seen in a lot of films, out of loads of films. He did put a clip in there, and I don't know if I've just made this memory up or not, but a guy's clearly jizzing himself and saying "Bore da" as he does it. And it starts off that all these hot porn actresses. They're in a mine. They've made a really shit out of a really shit set, like a papier-mâché set. And people, it's. I recommend the video. It's very interesting, if nothing else.
Well, I saw this on Instagram the other day. The Yes Cymru song, and I'll send it to you. It's they animated a song where it's a anthropomorphized map of Wales who's like a bit all sultry and how cartoon.
Is he saying, "Oh, we love you, we know you love us too, but we just need a bit of space or something"?
To England.
Yeah, because he mentioned, he alludes to that and shows little clips of it in this video, and he says literally this porno does a better job.
Oh, so it's not the same
fighting
thing.
And he says fighting for Welsh independence than the actual Yes Cymru thing.
It's wild. So that maybe we should do a deep dive into that. But when you sent it to me, I was like, oh, I don't want to watch anything horny related that Jack
Dirty
just
and
sent me.
filthy, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't going, oh, have a look at this, mate. Get your old fucking tallywhacker out of this. It's great.
Get off my tallywhacker!
Yeah. No, it was genuine bit of Welsh history I was trying to show you, that's all.
Well, talking of Welsh history, me and you were going on a road trip, and this time the audio will be vastly improved. Also, apologies for the audio on the tour. Who was it? What was the episode we did recently? Is it the Mad Druid?
Was it William Price one?
Yeah, William Price, yeah. My audio fucked up, so we tried to edit it out, but it still wasn't great. So I bought a new headset and mic, and hopefully it sounds better. If anyone out there knows of a good headset audio thing to buy, because if you Google good podcast headset, it's like a billion options. So anyone technical, do let us know.
Bear in mind, we ain't bloody made of money, all right? We're not made of money. So don't
But I was
give
going to
us
say,
good, but not too good.
well, talking of made of money, I'm doing so many segues. We got the Patreon now, which is doing really, like, we got people signing up for it, which is wild. It's so heartwarming and intimidating. But we're going to invest all the money back into the podcast. So good headphones is probably one of the first things we'll do. But enough of that nonsense. We're also we're doing a road trip in 2 weeks' time, and Jack's got this new like outside broadcasty thing which you can do on the road, so it'll be better than the one before. But we're going to be what were you saying then? Oh,
we're going to go see. We got actually incorporating history this time. Last time, well, we did last time actually, didn't we? We went to go see. Was it Llewellyn's grave? We went to see. Yeah. So this time we're going to go see. Was it the oldest building in Wales? Is it?
We're going to the oldest building in Wales, which was used by Owain Glyndŵr in 1402. It was a hunting lodge, I think. We're going to go visit Llewellyn's Ogof, which is the cave Llewellyn Ein Lliw Olaf stayed in the night before he died. And we're going to a pub because we have to. I think last time we went
to the history
to
segment. That's just for us.
We went to Bryn Glass Hill last time as well, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We trekked up. That was hard work. I remember.
Yeah. But what I thought we could do now, we could watch the porno together on the car on the way up.
Yay!
Just do a watch along. Horrible.
Oh dear.
And what else we got? Sorry, what's this here? I'm just scrolling through some of the stuff from Wales and movies. We should get him on. We should do.
He's good now. Yeah, I think he's got a book as well. He made a book. He's talked about it sometimes on some of his episodes.
I'm not reading that book,
he did
it's about TV.
No, get him on, and that's easier.
Yeah. We're also having Dr. Cymraeg. He'll be on soon. I think it's going to be recording that in 2 weeks' time, so that'll be a really fun one.
Yeah, that'll be coming out for you guys a while from now.
Maybe a month.
Oh no, actually, I don't know when this comes out. When you listen to this, it won't be that long. But from when we're recording it, it's a little while.
Yeah. Do we need any other admin? Any other things to go over? We said the Patreon. You can find the link in our bio. But enough of all that. Let's get on with today's episode. And before we do, Jack, do you want to read out who's sponsoring this week's episode?
Oh yes. So this episode comes from one of our lovely producers, Patreon member named Taffy, who is part of our Taily, aka our family, aka our. If we were in a little barbecue scenario in a film, drinking Coronas, he'd be invited because that's what we do with family, just like Vin Diesel. So cheers, Taffy. Thanks for that, mate. And
that's one of because we've launched the Patreon. If you pay for the highest tier, you're also a producer on the podcast. So that explains that for you. In case anyone's like, what? You got producers now? So we got financial backers thanks to our Patreon members.
Yeah.
So we'll be reading out different ones.
You could be one too if you just want to pay the money to the piper. That's how the phrase goes.
Yeah, we really should write down how we advertise.
Yeah, we fucking shit at it, aren't we?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll write it down for us next time. But for now,
that's what you get.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thanks Taffy for that, for producing this one. So some of our Welsh listeners might have heard of the Beca Riots before, especially if you went to school in Wales. I know we touched on it in a history lesson once, way back when we were in school, didn't we? I certainly remember at least one episode. I was going to say, Jesus, the podding world has overtaken my mind. One lesson in history. I'm sure I remember being taught about the Beca Riots.
I sort of do, but I don't really. I don't
think I went into it in depth.
Yeah. Well, I know the word, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah. And I would imagine people in England probably don't learn about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just might surprise you that even in Welsh schools, you don't often learn too much about Welsh history. You just learn like the standard Henry VIII and all that shit. But anyway, the Rebecca Riots is the name given to a series of aggressive protests that took place in West and Mid Wales between 1839 and 1843, mainly by farmers and agricultural workers unhappy with the taxation levels the government was subjecting them to. It's also worth mentioning to anyone who's maybe first-time listener that it's the English or UK government these rioters had an issue with, not Wales, because Wales didn't have its own government there at that point. We didn't get our own government until the late 90s. These rioters were mainly made up of men, mostly dressed up in traditional Welsh women's clothing. I'll go into why that is later on. But they'd go out, they damaged and destroyed toll gates, basically because they represented the taxation and the tolls in the region. And they decided to go by the name Merched Beca in Welsh, or Rebecca's daughters in English.
And a toll gate, that's what you pay to take a cattle through, walk through, isn't it?
Yeah, I get a bit more into sort of what they were and why
rude.
they're establishing a bit. Yeah, don't you fucking speak to when the teacher's talking, all right? Anyway, so what led to these lads dressing up in drag and damaging government property? Well, in the 1830s and early 1840s, all of Wales was suffering from a very poor crop yield. This was particularly bad in southwest after several seasons of non-stop rain. So at the time, Welsh farmers, especially those in the southwest, they were not only not being paid because their crops weren't producing anything, but they also still had to buy food at famine prices to feed themselves, their families, and their livestock. So this led to real economic hardship for agricultural workers in general. In 1842, the wealth of farmers was eroded further by the introduction of a tariff that made it easier to import livestock and meat from overseas, lowering the demand for homegrown farmers. The blame of this was aimed at the government, particularly the Prime Minister at the time, Robert Peel. All of this combined to significantly reduce the wealth a farmer could hope to earn, and while their income was being chipped away, their outgoings were also increasing. Costs like rent, county rates, and turnpike tolls kept getting higher and higher thanks to the government, and the farmers had had a bloody enough of it. So, just to tell you what a turnpike toll was, these were government-owned
sounds like such a
toll
sex
houses.
Position.
It doesn't. You get the old turnpike toll, darling. These were government-owned toll houses set up to cover the costs of road maintenance throughout the country. It soon became very apparent to the government that they could just set these up wherever there was heavy foot traffic or cart traffic and make an absolute fortune. At one point, around 30,000 miles of road in England and Wales was subject to some sort of toll charge. Wales has actually only fairly recently gotten rid of its last toll, which was the Severn Bridge, or Prince of Wales Bridge, as it's now called.
We ain't calling it that.
No, I never call it. You used to be able to cross it to get into England, no problem, but if you wanted to use it to get into Wales, you'd have to pay until they stopped charging for it in 2018.
But
so
the money didn't go to the UK, did it? It was a French company who owned the tolls there.
Yeah. So very not reminiscent as such of these old tolls, but just another like why are the Welsh getting a fucking slap with a toll? I remember reading when I was doing my research, and it was like, oh, it's like a charge for England to come in, isn't it? It's like, well, no, because if I'm leaving Wales through there, I got to come back. Yeah. So it's like, it's stupid. So back to the tolls of the 1800s. These were ran and operated by what were called trusts, and different trusts could purchase different toll rights on different roads or swap with other trusts, so on. The farmers really flipped their lids in the 1830s when a trust ran by a guy named Thomas Bullin took over the toll houses in West Wales. This guy was hated by the agricultural workers because not only did he hike up prices, but he set up what was called sidebars along his toll roads. These sidebars were essentially smaller toll gates that he'd set up strategically on by roads so that anyone trying to go the long way around to avoid the main tolls would be caught and have to pay that way. So anytime, you punch into a sat-nav, you want to avoid tolls, you take a bit of a longer route, but you don't have to pay any fees and stuff. This guy would like sniff out all the little roads you'd use to circumvent his toll and put like mini tolls on those.
I bet he would sniff it out as well. Like, imagine some little fat Disney-style rat of a man.
Yeah, like a little fucking truffle pig, isn't it? Going, I can tell you got silver on you. At the time, it was said that transporting lime supplies from Cardiff to their fields in the west would cost 10 times as much in toll fees as it would cost to buy the lime itself. So farmers back then, they used to buy a lot of lime, import a lot of lime, because the soils in the West needed like certain nourishments and things like that. And yeah, used to cost them apparently 10 times as much in tolls as it would to actually purchase the lime. So this combo of zero government support and heavy taxation hit a boiling point in 1839 when the first appearance of Beca or Rebecca's were reported. The first leader of Merched Beca, or Daughters Rebecca, was a guy named Thomas Rees, or Tum Carnabuth, as he was known locally. He wore women's clothing when leading attacks on toll houses, and in some versions of the story, they say that these were borrowed from a woman called Rebecca, living near his home at the foot of the Preseli Hills. The story states that this woman was an old maid and her clothes were borrowed because she was the only woman tall enough and large enough in the village. There's an absolute slam on that poor Rebecca girl, if that's true.
And should we explain what like Welsh women's clothing is?
Yeah, sure. So it's like I always take it for granted, obviously, because we went in Welsh school. We do a thing called Dance Gwerin, which is like folk dancing when you're a kid, and everyone dresses up in their traditional clothes. So we all obviously know it from school.
But
it's
I'll try and find a description for it, should I?
Yeah, it's like you have like a black bonnety hat, don't you?
Yeah,
With frills
it
on
looks
it.
like a chimney hat.
Yeah.
And then
it's got.
I've got the description here if you want me to
go on,
through
you
it.
go. Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, so it's the Welsh national dress, and it is really mad. Because we grew up with it, like you dress little kids in it now, and it does look quite cute. But it's a tall black hat, like a chimney hat. You have a bedgown around you, and then woolen shawl, so a big, often red, uncheckered woolen shawl, and it's you have. Let's see what else is on there. Red woolen shawl, big tall black hat. You have a bedgown underneath that, often checkered. So it's a lot of material flapping about there. Give it a quick Google and picture. You also have a petticoat.
Burly boys.
Which in Welsh has got quite a funny name. So it's the distinctive choice of headwear is typically compared with a shawl worn around the shoulders and a pais a betgun, a puffy petticoat-like skirt. In Welsh, the pais. And a gown. So pais a betgun. Pais is the petticoat. The betgun is the gown. It's spelled like there's lots of different variations of how you say that. And the gown can vary in style from long and fitted to short and loose. Oh, and
so dealer's choice, girls.
Then you got additional elements of the outfit include a cotton or linen mob cap, plus an apron and stockings, which tends to be in white. Google it. I probably butchered that explanation, but I do think so. When we say dressed up like women, it's a specific type of woman.
Yeah, it's not just in like a dress. It's like they all dressed in like traditional women's garb at the time. So I'll go into a bit now, actually, why they do this. So this guy, Thomas Rees, or Tum Carnabuth, this wasn't his first time dressing in women's garb, though, because he was reportedly...
Sounds like he just loves it.
Yeah, he was reportedly an enthusiastic supporter of a practice called Ceffyl Pren, or wooden horse in English. This was a form of mob punishment when the legal arms of society were either unable or unwilling to enact justice on what a community considered a guilty party. As part of the punishment, a mob, led by a foreman, would lead a group of men to tie the guilty party to a wooden horse and parade it around the village or town at night. Sometimes they strip you naked. You'd often be given a beating as well. The men involved in this would always wear women's clothing, traditional Welsh women's clothing, and they'd also paint their faces black for anonymity. This punishment was mostly for small crimes, so not like your rapists or your murderers or anything like that. It's more things that were like deemed immoral and just really shitty behavior at the time. So if you were a really harsh landlord, you drove like poor people off your land because of harsh rents, this would happen to you. Adulterers this was often done to them, and also if you were the father of too many bastard children, so if you were throwing your tallywhacker around too much and having too many bastards, they tie you to this horse and beat the fuck out of you. So they kept the idea of dressing as a woman to hide their identity for these Rebecca riots then, but I am really glad that they dropped the blackface. I think that's an unnecessary step for it. The disgruntled farmers, they then named themselves after a verse from the Bible, Genesis 24:60, And they blessed Rebecca and said unto her, Thou art our sister, be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them. This verse would often be chanted at gatherings, so that's where they got the Rebecca's daughters, or Ferched Beca, name from. So the first notable protest of these Rebecca riots was in 1839 in Carmarthenshire, where the Beccas attacked toll gates at Arefel Wen twice, destroying them all. Tum was seen leading this attack. This sparked several copycat groups that adopted the name and disguises. Some groups also widened their targets to not only toll houses, but other sources of their troubles, such as landlords and some Anglican clergymen. So, just to give a background of why they targeted the clergymen, the church at the time could demand what's called a tithe. I don't know if you've heard that word before. I hadn't until this. Which is basically they can demand 10% of your earnings or your produce at any time, and you'd be expected to give it towards the church. But at the time, in this era of Wales, this history, most Welsh people were non-conformist Christians, so they were not very strict in terms of their religious rules and regulations, for lack of a better word. So they all felt that this was very unfair, that they could just be diddled out of 10% of whatever they earned or whatever they produced. So a lot of these clergymen they attacked, they basically just got battered. There wasn't really much thought put into it. I'm not sure if they really had like an end goal with that other than just taking their frustration out. But yeah, they used to just like dress up as Welsh women, jump these clergymen and give them a fucking hiding, basically. Some groups, again, targeted men who had too many illegitimate children as well. So this was obviously a big cultural sticking point. Yeah. You're getting more action than me. I'm going to beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah. It's probably because you dress like a woman all the time, mate.
Yeah.
Throwing off odd vibes.
Yeah. So the Beccas, they also targeted Aberystwyth Southgate Toll House. Which has now been moved.
I was going to say, see that?
At St Fagans, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I recognise that one in St Fagans.
Yeah, so St Fagans is, for those who don't know, is a natural history museum here in Cardiff. So that's been moved there.
It's Europe's biggest open-air museum, I believe.
There we go. A little bit of a plug for St Fagans.
Yeah.
So they, this one in Aberystwyth Southgate, they damaged the main toll house and they destroyed some of the sidebars, those little like extra tolls I was on about earlier. They also had plans to target nearby Union workhouses as well, but these often had garrison troops, so they opted to avoid scraps with soldiers. Things quietened down for a little bit after this initial kind of uprising for about 3 years. And then the Beccas rose up again when a toll gate was raised next to a pub called the Mermaid Tavern in St Clears in Carmarthenshire, along with several sidebars. This was a heavily used road, especially by farmers. And so Rebecca's daughters then, they were having absolutely none of it. So they destroyed this main gate as well as all the sidebars that had been put in place. And while they were in the smashing mood, they also marched down to Bolgoed in the outskirts of Pontarddulais, and they smashed up the toll gates around there as well. This was a mob of about 200 men on this occasion, so not to be trifled with lightly, I'd imagine.
Pretty scary.
Yeah, you would be thinking, what are all these women doing approaching from the hillside? And then go, oh wait, they're actually burly blokes ready to kick my head in. Oh wait, I've been shagging about the town lately. I don't want to be caught by them.
Oh wait, I'm also from the Anglian Church.
Yeah, I'm also an adulterer and a harsh landlord. Anyway, so in July 1843 then, the ringleaders of Ferch Beca, or Rebecca's daughters, they decided to switch tactics and wrote several threatening letters to the landlords of local farmers across Wales. They demanded that landlords reduce rents by at least a third, but this unfortunately had little effect. I do think that's sort of like you've escalated in the wrong way there, haven't you? Like in the reversed order. I think if you're going to do letters, you do letters first, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't start beating the fuck out of people and then go, look, I'll write you a letter now, because the letter's not going to carry as much weight, is it? I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But it's like that thing in The Simpsons where Homer's in the Navy and he's trying to get a bowl of peas. And he's going, Homer, what do you want? He goes, peas, I want peas. But yes, exactly, we want peace. But how do you get peace? And he gets a knife. He goes, with a knife. He goes, exactly, you get peace by the knife. So once again, The Simpsons showing us.
Yeah, they're doing history instead of predicting the future now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just a bit of a side note, but before these daughters of Rebecca would smash up a toll gate or go on like a sort of a riot. What they intended to do is once they approached the gate, they'd elect a leader of the mob, and they were referred to as Beca or Rebecca for the duration. And then Beca/Rebecca would call to his followers, who were also dressed as women, of course, and they'd perform a scene before they began to smash everything up. It was a bit like almost like a play. So Rebecca would
Wales
say,
is so weird.
yeah.
man.
So Rebecca would say, the leader would go, "What is this, my children? There is something in my way. I cannot go on." The rioters would say, "What is it, Mother Rebecca? Nothing should stand in your way." Rebecca would reply, "I do not know, my children. I am old and cannot see well." The rioters would say, "Shall we come and move it out of your way, Mother Rebecca?" "Wait, it feels like a big gate put across the road to stop your old mother." "We will break it down, Mother. Nothing stands in our way. Perhaps it will open. Oh, my dear children, it is locked and bolted. What can be done? It must be taken down, Mother. You and your children must be able to pass. Off with it then, my children." And then they start smashing the
That's
shit out of the
fucking
toll gate.
mental.
But they
That's
used to
like
do
a
that at
horror
a lot of
movie.
them. Yeah, they've got doolally, haven't they? They've gone fucking tapped.
It's like the Wicker Man.
You'd
Yes,
be in the
mother.
pub after going like, "Oh, I'm glad we got that toll thing down, yeah." And like me and you would be part of it, and then looking at each other going, "What was the whole fucking like play bit about? Did you?" And I didn't know that was going to happen. No.
But you'd get carried away with mob mentality, wouldn't you? You'd just be like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
"What is this in the way, my children? Smash it, Mother! Smash it!"
I'd love that bit. Smash it, mother!
Yeah.
Really
Madness.
getting on that.
Yeah. So this is where it takes not a dark turn, but it's not as nice a turn. Like I don't really mind the destruction of government property as like a big thing because like whatever, it's just things, isn't it? But while the damage from the riots was mainly property, as I've mentioned, and the occasional physical battering of a clergyman or two, it did unfortunately result in one murder in the village of Hendy in 1843. A young woman named Sarah Williams. She worked as a gatekeeper at one of the tolls, and she was killed when she refused to run from the rioters. She'd been warned that the Beckers were en route, but she refused to leave her post. A family living nearby, who had locked themselves in to avoid trouble from the rioters, apparently heard her shouting, "I know who you are," to the rioters. She was last seen at a local man's house where she asked for a pail of water to help extinguish a fire that had been set at the toll house by the Beckers. Sarah left to tend to the fire, but several locals at this point heard a gunshot. She turned up again at the same man's house to refill her pail, where she collapsed in his doorway, dying 2 minutes later. So she'd been shot.
And what year was this again? 'Cause
This was 1843. Where was I? Sorry. So yeah, unfortunately, a woman did die because she was so committed to her job for some strange reason. God knows why. She decided to hold her ground. And yeah, no, that's no good of whichever Beca shot or whoever shot her. I don't think that's not really in keeping with
and was she an owner
spirit of the riot.
the
She just
toll?
worked there. She's worked at the toll house.
Mate, I can't even be. Imagine giving your life for a job that you're not even the fucking.
I'd be fucking smashing the place up myself and then
me.
going, "I can't believe this has happened. I guess I'll have to have a day off now, won't I, for a bit?"
I'd be if something bad happened down the bay, I'd smash my laptop. Say if there's like a terror attack or something, I'd smash my laptop. Be like, "Oh no, look what they did as well!" Just so I didn't have to work anymore.
Yeah. So after this, Sarah Williams's death, the government increased troop numbers around toll houses in Wales, which in turn led to the Daughters of Rebecca scaling back their movement, opting for more open protest meetings instead of like property destruction and violence. So this was also
was the death like a turning point?
Yeah, because there was since the death, then the government like started issuing guards and troops and things. So it just these guys that were happy to come and smash up a toll house, they don't want to get shot by the army or anything. So they sort of scaled it back a bit, and they turned into more like a like public protests and things like that. Just lessen the violence a bit, or sort of less aggressive. So this was also coincidentally the scaling back happened at the time where there was a couple of thieves called John Jones and David Davis, also known locally as Sioni Sgubor Fawr and Dair Cantor. Respectively, they both went on a crime spree in Llanelli dressed as the Daughters of Rebecca. So this, in a local sort of bubble, this turned a lot of people against Rebecca's daughters because they were claiming to be, they were saying all the catchphrases, for lack of a better word, that the daughters of Rebecca would say. So they were sort of associated with crime then. So that this also helped like scale things back.
What was he called? Shawnee Skibod.
So they were called John Jones and David Davis, but respectively, their local names were Shawnee Skibod Fawr and Dair Cantor.
So the first one is it Johnny or Shawnee?
Shawnee. So Shawnee, it's like Shawnee Big Barn, is it?
Yeah, Shawnee Big Barn.
Big Barn.
I love that. Here he is Shawnee Big Barn.
Yeah.
I thought he had a really small barn, and it was like, he was really braggy in a massive barn.
No, our barn's massive, mate. That's why they call me Shawnee Big Barn, isn't it?
All right, mate, I'm Shawnee Big Barn here. I'm going to fucking take you up a little bit. Come on, mate, it's Shawnee Big Barn.
That's a Guy Ritchie character, isn't it?
It is.
Shawnee Big Barn. He's got a massive fucking barn, yeah?
Casimir Bubble comes in, and he is Shawnee Big Barn. Well, like they're really like cliched intros. It's like, it would pan to him really fast. It'd be like, and then stop, and it'd have his name written across the screen. Shawnee Big Barn. So he's the smallest man with the biggest barn, and you don't want to get on the fucking wrong side.
He's a good lad. Just don't ask him how big his barn is, yeah? So yeah, these two thieves, they were also sort of responsible for the muddying of the name of Rebecca's daughters as well at the time. So by 1844, these riots, certainly the aggressive ones, had stopped completely. And although the Ferch Beca, or Rebecca's daughters, didn't stir an immediate change as a result of their rioting, it was the fact that a widespread sort of leaderless revolt of downtrodden peasantry against the ruling class had occurred. That was a really important sort of social and political event in Wales. And as a result of the riot, sort of a few years down the line then, rent on properties was eased in a lot of areas, toll rates were improved, several reforms were put in place, including a royal commission that was like an investigation into the use of toll roads and how they was being abused by the trusts. And that eventually led to the South Wales Turnpike Trusts Act of 1844. This act consolidated all those competing trusts that I was on about into one organisation and reduced toll rates for agricultural workers by almost half. So they did get what they wanted in the end. It took a while, but they eventually got what they wanted. The riots also inspired similar uprisings in 1860s and 1870s when the opposition to the privatisation of salmon reserves in the River Wye dressed up as women during their protests. This was dubbed the Second Rebecca Riots, but was nowhere near as big time. Then in pop culture, there's a few songs that have been made over the years by loads of different artists you probably never heard of. Some plays and novels, and there was even a film, I never knew about this, that was written by Dylan Thomas in 1948 and didn't get released until 1992, called Rebecca's Daughters. Wow. The film stars Peter O'Toole and Keith Allen, but the only notable thing I could find about the film really was that the 44-year gap from when it was written to when it was made is the longest gap between writing production and having it filmed on record. That's about it. So yeah, that's it. That's your lot on the Rebecca riots, to you little history dogs.
So then, like, it's kind of, even though it's not a union, it shows the power in numbers, and unity can often have an effect.
Definitely.
When I did my first ever 10k run the other day, and it had this Cardiff like winter warmer race. And you get like a medal from there. And I've done I've played football all my life, and I've done boxing and stuff, and I'm relatively quite fit, even if I booze too much and stuff. I've always done exercise, but I've never done running. But I've been trying to do a bit more running, ready for the wedding and stuff, to just get healthy.
Yeah.
And I on the run around, I don't listen to music much anymore. I listen to music sometimes at home chilling, but mostly I'm a podcast person. I probably have 4 podcasts a day I go through. I absorb them. I can't go to I can't walk to the shops without having something in my ears. But I had some music to get me through the run into the tougher stages, and because I'm such a fucking union man, I was playing this song, "Solidarity Forever" by it's like a really old unit. It's called "Solidarity Forever." Yeah. It's a song written by it's a union song in the 1915. It's a trade union anthem. We should drop that in here just to hear. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity
man's inspiration through the worker's blood shall run. There can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun.
I was walking around, like jogging around.
I can imagine your pace picking up like by several knots from that.
My heart rate went through the roof because I was going my fastest. It's like, and the union makes us strong. It's like it's so fun. Everyone else is probably listening to like actual like songs that have really good like beats per minute and like helping them run. I just listened to Pete Seeger.
Yeah, you'd have been one of the Rebeccas, mate. Well, I like to think we've both been a couple of Beccas.
Yeah, but I definitely think at one point we'd be like, it was a bit mad. We used to do that stupid like, ooh, and mother's here.
Yeah, when it had died down, when we were doing just the protests and stuff, you'd be like, remember when we used to do the whole play bit about mother and all that?
Yeah.
That was a bit mad, wasn't it?
Yeah, I like about mother. Hello, mother. It's such a weird thing, isn't it?
So strange.
Well, that's really interesting. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew because it's always been like this. It's always been in Welsh culture to hear. I think
all
riots.
I knew about it was about tolls.
Yeah,
and they dressed up as women. That's all I knew. And
I
it was interesting to
understand because even if they dress up like women, they could still see faces. So you'd be like, oh yeah, it was just Tom, but he was dressed like a woman. It's not like he had like one of those modern day masks that like move.
Maybe it's meant to be like a like a psyop kind of thing. Like a couple hundred men dressed as women come in and start beating the shit out of you. Maybe you're just like in such a flurry of I don't know. Like you'd be going. There was those 200 of them. They were all dressed as women and they were all battering me. And who was it? I don't know. I just saw the little hats and stuff bobbing around and then getting smacked in the head.
They kept saying for mother.
Yeah, they I locked the door, but they just kept going, Mother, what is this in our way? Dismantle it, kill them all. But yeah, it's maybe it was just like throw so much shit at the wall. You can't remember fucking Tom Jones from the Village Down because he was dressed up as a woman. Maybe, who knows?
Shawnee Big Barn.
Yeah, Shawnee Big Barn.
All right, should we wrap that on? I got to go back to work like a little jerk. Although we did have a really nice message the days. Someone, I'll read on the next one, but they just said that they wish we did this full time, and so do I. That'd be the dream.
So do we, mate. So do we.
Right. Well, diolch yn gwrando. Thanks for listening. Get on the Patreon and everything else.
Ta-ra.